When you first meet her, she's 19. She's at school. She's planning to become a lawyer, which is what her father did. And she ends up, in the very beginning of the pilot, when you see her, she ends up witnessing her mother's murder. And in that moment, she changes everything and decides that she's going to take more control over her life and becomes a detective. And her whole intent is to make sure that that never happens again, that she can ensure that bad things don't occur anymore and that she can be in control of that. So physically she becomes strong. She works on her fighting skills. She makes sure that she will never be a victim in that sense. Catherine's whole MO with bad boys, and I don't think she liked bad boys pre her mom's murder, is that she never wants to care about somebody so much or love somebody so much that she could lose them and it would hurt. And so she has control. If it's a guy that's a jerk, you never really fall in love with them. You never really care, and it never works out, and you never have to be vulnerable, and you never have to feel that. And so she just picks them over and over and over again. And Evan isn't that, and Vincent really isn't that. Both of those men in her life put her into a vulnerable position. And that's really tough for her, although it's what pushes her character to grow. The show is very much, there's a funny balance in our show. There's the procedural or the crime element of the show, which is Tess and Catherine in their job that carries the kind of spine of each episode. And then you've got the Muirfield storylines, which really threaten Vincent and Catherine. And those are mythology stories that will come in and out as we go. Then there's the romance. So we've got these three layers that always kind of happen in our show. And it's fun because the more we go, the more of a sense of the show that we get. You see these wonderful relationships between the characters, and it's actually really funny and charming and sweet. And I like that tone in our show.
The romance element of the show is a huge part, and a huge part of what Beauty and the Beast has always been, I think. So, kind of staying true to that romantic element and the connection between two people that are trying to find kind of themselves and their way in the world. She can kick butt. It's, I remember the first day I came on set and she had a fight sequence. And I just thought, whoa, I've got to pick up my game here. What is the Beast gonna do if she can kick butt like that? You can take him to extremes because our version of Beauty and the Beast is new and fresh, and no one's ever taken this sort of angle on the story before. So we've got this kind of wide open canvas to play with.
Tess is quicker to peg someone as guilty, and Catherine is quicker to kind of look more into the psychology and the emotion of someone, and it helps. It really helps solve cases, and there's also that friendship there and that bond that we don't need to necessarily look at each other at crime scenes. We're always just vibing the other person, and it just really helps with work and with our friendship. Tess and Catherine as friends is probably the complete opposite of the way they are when they're interrogating people. They are dorky, and they are fun, and they're girly, and they just like to have a good time. They're just like any other girlfriends, but they just happen to have a very intense job. Tess would be the worst detective on the planet if she wasn't a little suspicious of Catherine.
I play a character called Evan Marks, who's the medical examiner for New York, I guess. I don't know how Evan looks at Catherine right now, whether she is Mrs. Right or Mrs. Right now, but I think that definitely develops. I think he isn't in that stage of his life to settle down just yet, but I think of all the women that he has kind of known and been with, I think he probably puts Cat in those that place to eventually turn into that. He's a bit of a ladies' man, so he's got his eye on lots of different girls through the series. But I think there's a very strong bond between them. I think they trust each other deeply and help each other throughout their work. So there's that bond as well.
JT is the only person that knows that Vincent's alive at the beginning of the pilot. And so he's the only one that could protect him and will protect him because they're best friends. Muirfield is this government secret organization, black ops organization that has basically created Vincent. Created the Beast, created the super soldier, and their experiment went awry years ago, and they want every trace of that experiment wiped off the face of the earth. They've been existing for 10 years by themselves, on their own, off the grid, and Catherine comes in and invades their space, and because of that, JT's world and complicated juggling act is further complicated because he's barely holding it together as it is.